All right, we are back with the next chapters of the Diet Trap Solution. This is chapters 5 and 6, talking about food pusher traps and family traps. And glad that you gals are on here with us. This starts on what page? 5 is 85. And I thought she was interesting how she started it out, because so often we think, oh, those food pushers, they're just being rude. But she's going, they may actually want you just to experience the flavor or appreciate their efforts. Others believe it's polite or expected to insist. And some may push food because they're actively trying to sabotage your diet. So they could be doing something unhelpful, or they could have really good intention to just be going through their habit process. And I know I have a friend who used to always bring me, oh, I just made this pumpkin roll. I know you'll want some. And she'd bring all this stuff, and it's like, you know what? I got a point where I'd say, oh, thank you so much. I do love it. I'd take it and throw it away. Or I'd give it to somebody I knew could eat it and be fine. Yeah. They didn't have to know that. She got the joy of giving it to me. Yeah. And making it, and I do love it. I've had it before, so I could honestly say it's really good. But, if you say it later, it doesn't. You don't have to know it's going to be a couple of years now. It's like tell all those little things. But like she says, your ability to stand firm and say no is always under your control. And sometimes we give up that control. Anyway, the first number 1 trap says the chronic hard sell trap. They keep on pushing you to eat even when you say no. Have you experienced that, or have any thoughts about that kind of person?
Yeah, I think I've experienced it. And finally, I'm just like, you know what? I just stick to my guns. I just really say, thanks. I'm too full, or I really don't want any right now. I'll have some later. And if they keep coming at me, I may take the piece and just set it in front of me. And even sometimes taking my fork and kind of cutting it up into pieces, because they're just not happy until you take it. And sometimes it's just the actual taking of the plate and having it there, and they'll say, well, what? And I'll say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to eat. I'm saving it. I'm saving my piece. I want to make sure I get my piece so that I do get some. I'm just going to eat it later.
Yep.
And usually,
you know what? I'm so full right now. Would it be possible to take this home? And they don't have to know what happens to it once it leaves their house. But it's kind of like, I'm not trying to be deceitful, but okay, they're not really helping you with what your goals are. Like, right. How about you, Melanie? Any thoughts?
I think with my mom, that's a complicated relationship anyway. And we both struggle with our weight all our lives. And it seems like we kind of keep passing around the same, although she's really thin now. But I do remember, she can be that way for sure, especially when she cooks a meal. She wants you to, to taste it. And she feels offended if you don't try it. And so she's probably my most difficult food pusher of all.
Amazing.
Plus, family kind of knows how to push buttons a little bit better, or differently than just a friend.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, that's true. I thought she was talking just about what's most uncomfortable, and thinking, okay, has your mom been hurt before and let down? Yeah. Well, she lived through it. It's like, hey, think about, what? She'll get over it. It's like, not like she's really going to take that much offense. She loves her Melanie way too much, but it's kind of like, in that moment, it's so hard, and we're so used to being people pleasers, aren't we? It's like, be a good girl.
But there's also that part of me that wants to eat it.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
With that mental stuff there, it's like, oh, yeah, I do want it. But it's not going to meet my goal, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think we're that little advantages list that we've got going, the more we get that programmed into our head, that we can keep in mind, what do we really want, and how are we really going to feel? And, and then once you get your weight, you never go hog wild, but you've got a little bit more freedom, so that you at least do have some stuff.
Yeah.
And it says you never have to give a reason why you're turning down food. But hey, you can just say, no thanks. That thing with the broken record technique, no thanks. No thanks. It's like, that could work. And she said, well, reality, gaining weight again this summer would be so much more uncomfortable for so much longer. And you're thinking, okay, you know how uncomfortable you were when we started this whole program and how you felt and you were just frustrated. And it's like, okay, is making your mom or that friend kind of disappointed in that little uncomfort for that moment feel worse than that, you know, and how disappointed we are in ourselves and frustrated. And I'm not preaching at you. I'm talking to myself too. It's like, okay.
Well, it goes back to your why, right?
Yeah. It is really keeping that. And I just think it comes to thinking it through. So before you have that time when you know your mom's cooking, just like you practice before going to that party, you get that scenario in your head. So you kind of walk through it in your head before you actually physically go through it. I think that's what so many of these things where she helps the person step back and look at the picture, and then you can come up with some ideas. And what you do in the moment, it may be different, but you know, if you plan it, it's really good stuff.
But you know, I sometimes go the very opposite of that because my mom is being very supportive right now. And she's like, well, I really don't know what to do for your birthday. You know, obviously a cake's out of the question. I'm like, oh, okay. I feel like this big baby. It's like, well, I mean, part of me wants them to, you know, but she's supportive, but even that's not good enough.
I think you should take you for, and you could do pedicures together.
Right.
Yeah.
Do something non-food together. Celebrate that way.
There you go.
Movie together. You can go out to eat, and you can have healthy choices. It's fun. And the thing is, man, you're not gonna have your mom forever. You know, it's like I would give anything to have a meal with my mom.
I know.
It's like value that time, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Forget how a treasure that is when you still got them. It's like,
oh, sure. Yeah.
Like this one, there's boogers out of you. Yeah, so anyway, people go off. So number 2 says the passive pushing trap. You wait for the pusher to stop pushing rather than just refusing. So they said these dieters are making the classic mistake of expecting the food pusher to be the one to change when, in fact, the initial change needs to come from the dieters themselves. And basically by giving in all the time and waiting for them, she said she was inadvertently teaching her family to keep pushing because when they did, they got what they wanted. You don't think about what we've trained them, you know, they offer enough times and we break in and we'll do it. So it's kind of like, that was interesting. And to realize, hey, they're just fulfilling their role. They're doing their job as being the food pusher. And your job is to prove that their pushing is futile. Like, there's your challenge. You know, train your family and your mom and get them in there. You guys pipe in anytime there too. That one. You get the buzzkill trap. You feel responsible for making other people feel better about what they're eating and drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And the old, you know, it's just one glass of wine and you know, or come on, we you know, that's really the big thing. Well, we'll go out and have some drinks and I know, you know, I now have to know myself well enough to know that, okay, I know that I can have a glass of wine. But I also know that depending on all the other things going on in my life, one glass of wine can undo me and my reserves go away. And then it's like, the next time they put, you know, something in front of me, whether it be an appetizer or a cake or, you know, whatever it is, I have far less resistance than sometimes eat just after one glass of wine. That's why, you know, it's like I really have to know myself that day.
Or in my case, a brownie, which happened on Saturday. Went to a friend's party. I mean, it's this huge party, all kinds of food, and I was doing really well, but the second glass of wine put me, you know, my resistance was down, and there was this brownies with walnuts in them, and I grabbed one. Because, yeah, I mean, I have to know myself, know when to stop, when I need to stop. I totally get that.
It's hard. It's like, man, I got a friend for my birthday a couple years ago. She's like, I said, well, we didn't go out. And she says, are you still doing that diet? You know, she goes, how did she say it? She's kind of like, oh, well, I guess we won't have any fun. And I'm like, I didn't think eating all that food made me fun. It made me fat, not fun. And I'm like, okay, what's the food have to do with, it's like, why does it matter what I'm choosing to eat? I'm having a good time. And so she's the same one that tried to push the pumpkin rolls. She's kind of, well, I don't have much to do with her right now because
Does she have a weight issue?
she's got a little bit, but not much. She's got more now than she ever had. And I think she's diabetic now, so she really needs to get some help. She's the friend that told me years ago, if you ever lose all the weight, all your wrinkles will show. So it's kind of like, she's a unique person. What can we say? I love her, but it's like, oh my gosh.
You're toxic there.
Yeah.
So, it's like, in that bottom, that little card at the bottom that they had on 92 is, it's not my responsibility to make my family feel good about what they eat and drink, but it is my responsibility to make healthy choices that make me feel good. When I give into a food pusher, I don't much enjoy the extra food or drink anyway, because I feel upset with myself and them. And I thought, that's true. And it's like, you talk about the brownie and the wine and stuff. It's like, okay, in the moment it was good. And then afterwards, you're still kind of beating yourself up about it a little bit. And it's like, oh man, you're putting yourself through more grief than what the pleasure ever was. And it's like, hey, if you do it, this is what I have, enjoy it.
That's very true.
And it's like, and it's on 94, it said, just by standing firm with her food pushers, Laura had helped learn to stick up more for her own needs in general. I think, you're used to taking care of people all the time, and we're used to making everybody happy, and we don't watch out for our own needs. And you know what? Getting healthy is pretty doggone good. And so you resolve to make eating decisions on the basis of what's important to you, not to others. And with all new things, the first few times will be the hardest. Stick to your guns and don't give in. The fourth one's the people pleaser trap, that you're concerned that you'll disappoint food pushers by turning down their food. Mm-hmm. And look at that very last sentence on that page. What's it say, Melanie? On page 95.
On page 95? Yeah. Weekends are difficult. Yeah. Oh. I know. I fuss at her every weekend. Well, I'm hungry. Because the weekends are just hard.
They're hard. They're not as structured, and it's easy. You get into a routine Monday through Friday, right? You get into your routine, and it's easy to stick to the 5 and 1 when you're in your routine, and then weekends are when the social stuff happens. And weekends are hard. They are hard. They still are hard.
Yeah, you used to have a glass of wine Friday night, and I want to reward myself, and I've got to change my thinking.
Unfortunately, a few indulgent meals or even extra snacks or drinks can lead to gaining back whatever weight you'd lost during the week. You work so hard for it, and it's like, you put those carbs in your system, and it comes back. But I thought she had really good questions there on 96, and it's just like, what are the costs to you if you say yes? How disappointed will you be if you eat off track for the rest of the day and undo your hard work from the past week? How disappointed will you be if you continue this pattern and don't lose weight? How long will your disappointment last? What will the other costs will there be to you? So I thought those were just kind of interesting little things you got some of those going through. If we could stop and think through those things, it's like, so it's a choice too. It's not that you ever beat yourself up. You have a choice. Right. But no one walking through and just really thinking about it and then really making an informed decision instead of just a rash, oops, I just ate that. I did it again. Crazy. And 98, the illegitimate say no trap. You feel it's not legitimate to say no to food pushers. And that was how she said, well, if you were a vegetarian and somebody offered you bacon, would you take it? Would you feel bad? Well, no, you would never consider eating meat. Well, if you had a peanut allergy, there could be serious consequences. Would you give in if she made baked goods with those nuts and pushed till you had some? No. I thought those were interesting. And a lot of our foods, we're allergic to them. They make us break out in fat. Yep. So it's in our rights to do stuff. Anything other thoughts in those sections?
No, but that's an excellent way of, you know, it was just like one of those light bulb kind of moments. We're like, well, yeah, you know, it is legitimate. It is totally legitimate to say no, that I can't have even one, because one leads to 2 or 3 or 10, you know?
Yeah, those trigger foods. I think there was for her. Yeah, she was talking about the chips. I think that's the next chapter, though.
You're right. It's like, man, and we think we can control it sometimes. Oh, I can just have a little bit and be fine, but then it's kind of hard to stop. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Here you got, this is the one you talked about earlier, kind of the willing accomplice trap. You don't put much of a fight up because truthfully, you want to eat it. Yeah. And so she was asking the gal, you know, given all the variables, whether it was worth it to skip those things. And on top of 102 are the strategies there to develop a strong eating plan for what you will and won't eat. She says, write it down and take it with you. Make sure it's really clear. Review relevant reminder cards. If you're writing those little cards, what you want to do is even take them to the bathroom with you if you need a little refresher of a moment. And remember, you won't be firm with someone else if you're not first firm with yourself. But be sure to give yourself credit when you do stand firm with both yourself and the food pusher to record that experience. And, you know, it's like it's you, not anyone else, who is in charge of what goes into your body. And it can help you when you find your resolve weakening. And it's like, yeah, we don't think about it. And I think that's part of the biggest thing is we just don't think about it. It's just kind of like, whoop. Any thoughts on that anymore? Anything else to answer you guys in that chapter?
No, but it is a good reminder to stop and pat yourself on the back when you do make that choice for yourself, because the more you do it and the more you make that conscious recognition, you say, okay, I did it once, or I did it twice, I can do it again, or I did it 3 times, I can do it again. You know, it does motivate you it gives you the muscles, I guess, to keep saying no. Yeah, and that's just a good reminder.
That's what Susan's so good for too, because I was telling her, you know, what happened, and then she's like, but you know what? You got back on track over the weekend. You didn't let it completely derail you. So it's good to have her support as I'm still like this weak little baby.
We need each other. I get a lot of encouragement from my clients too, and that's why I became a coach, is because I need to be kind of kept in track, because I'm not perfect either by any means. So it's kind of.
I always say, you know, it's progress, not perfection. Yeah. You know, it's progress. And, you know, what's awesome is in 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, you get to make a different choice.
Yeah, that does help.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Well, then you got the whole thing. The next chapter is about family traps. You get time to. We have some minutes here. We can get through some of those things. It's like. Something particular that stands out. You guys in there, you get the criticizer track. You get unsupportive family members who make negative comments.
Yeah, I've definitely had that. It's like you're on another diet, you know, you don't ever keep off, you know, statistics show that people don't keep things off. I've had a lot of critical things like that. And I've thought about people too. I mean, quite honestly.
Yep. And now it's like, have you had that happen since you've been on the 5-in-1?
I haven't really been real vocal about it to people, because just for that reason, I don't want to be criticized, and I don't want people trying to derail me. And I, you know, on page 109 note, it's just having to tell yourself this is different than before. I'm learning different skills, and having, you know, that mental mindset that I've been pretty low key, down low about it.
Well, you know, you're not doing a diet. This isn't a diet. If you're doing a diet, it's not going to keep you off the long haul. This truly is a lifestyle change, and I've decided it's time to get healthy, and I'm making different changes that are good for my health, and you know, that's long term.
Yeah, some people have noticed I've lost a little weight, and I said, you know, I needed to do something. The doctor's numbers, you know, I needed to do something.
Yep.
Right.
It's like, yay. Well, and I like the 109. It's that E plus R equals O. An event plus reaction is equals the outcome. So whether or not you can stop the offensive comments, you can certainly change your reaction to them. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of good. And I think if we don't even have a reaction, then it's likely to make those comments. You just kind of let it roll off you, and it's like, whatever they're thinking, that's their problem. And it's like, it can hurt us for the moment, but in the long haul, we're the winners on the whole thing. Hey, Chad.
What's Chad doing? What are you getting?
What's for dinner, honey?
He just got home. Oh, look, he's got romaine lettuce, Susan.
Romaine. It's like a bouquet. The rebel trap. You revert to old behaviors when interacting with your family. I think that's a big one, because you get in those things and you get all your favorite dishes, and you do. I mean, I used to find out with my sister, my family, I could be totally nice and functional. I get my family, they know all the buttons to push, and it's just kind of like, what? And I go, who the heck is that person that just showed up? It's like, that's not me.
So true.
She's losing control when she goes home, and those habits. So I think the biggest part is recognizing them so that you can think it out and have that different scenario. Man, those things on 111, like, were smacking me in the face about eating junk food at night while I'm home only makes me feel worse, not better. It's like, that used to be, I'd do good all day and I'd come home at night, and that was what got me into trouble. And then the other thing, if I eat extra unplanned calories in secret at night, I'll gain weight whether or not mom knows about it. It's like, how many times do we eat things and think, I'm not saying, I don't know. We know it's going to have consequences, but we kind of just like, there's something about sneaking it.
Trying to get away.
Right. And there's something about going back home for the weekend, the family. It's like, I don't know, but we have a big family. And so somehow if we're all together, people slide into those same routines or positions you had all those years growing up. And even if that's not who you are now as an adult, somehow that's how it kind of worked. And so I find myself, I'll speak for myself, sometimes sliding into those positions where it's like, what? Rather than, speaking up sometimes, depending on who's around, it's just like, so that, I think that plays too in it's not just around the food, but it's around the whole thing. And you have the family meals, right? It's our family meal of all those favorite things. And, I'm you don't make waves. It just makes it a whole lot more pleasant for everybody.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And she says on 113, you can be your own worst enemy. You and not anyone else, because you're in control of every bite of food you put in your mouth. When you tend towards self-sabotage, the best overall strategy is to continue to question your unhelpful thinking and remind yourself, if I do this, who will my overeating actually affect? Will I just really be hurting myself? What does my adult mind say about this? And so I think just keeping and encouraging yourself with the credit when you do things good, give yourself the thing, the pat on the back. And number 3 is the can't deprive the family trap. You keep tempting foods at home because you don't want your family to suffer. It's like, you got to keep Lydia happy, huh?
Yeah, that one hit home with me because I still struggle with. I've been trying to have some things here for them that they enjoy that I won't be tempted with. But yeah, I don't know that they like the new situation here.
Well, and it's like, can they put them someplace where they're not out where you can get to them, or can you get a special tin or a box that okay, this is yours, and that's Lydia's, and if you take it, you're stealing. You're depriving your daughter of what you bought for her.
Well, it's funny because all right, so both of my kids are away at school, and when they came home, they were like, whoa, where guys, I used to load up on all their favorite foods, right? All their favorite snacks and and make their favorite meals, which were, lasagna and baking, all of that. And even my husband, he's just, he's very supportive. And so one night he said, I just really want some cookies. So he went to the gas station and bought a little sleeve of cookies. and then went to the basement and was watching sports and ate them in the basement so that it wasn't around. And when my kids came home, I'm just going to keep going with this story. So my kids came home. I did have a few, but I found if I put them out on the shelf in the garage or in the basement, because that's not where I really hang out. I mean, we do occasionally, but that's not my place to hang out. It was less tempting because it wasn't right here in the pantry or in the kitchen or as I'm doing laundry or, all of that. So my kids were home for quite a while over Christmas break, and they went back to school, and they both said, "Mom, you've ruined me." I said, "What?" And they both said, "We came back to school and we're expecting to eat couldn't wait to get back to all the junk food that we had at school that you don't have at home anymore." And I ate it, and I felt so sick because they had been home for so long and had kind of eliminated that they found that eating all of that sugar and all the late night snacks made them not feel well. And I am like, I said, I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not sorry. I'm happy. I'm happy that you think about that now. So I don't know how old your daughter is, but yeah, mine are 22 and 23, and I don't know if it really ever changes.
Oh, man. Well, I thought 114, she says that the potato chip industry expressly engineers chips to be as tempting as possible. And Dr. Anderson talks about that in his book early on, too, how it's not your fault. They've got all these things engineered to actually make them addictive, and they know all the right combinations. Mm-hmm. And
Oreos.
Like you said,
yes.
Oreos. Still serving packages, that's good. And what out of sight is out of mind, out of the house is even better. And the me first mule trap is on 116, stubborn or controlling family members that don't want to make changes. It's like you got it's like little layers of all that happen in there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see some of those little, especially it probably happens most with the kids, right?
Yep. Well, it was fun. Like, again, they came home and they were like, well, where are all the potatoes? Where's this? And they're old enough now that I just said, well, I won't be making those. If you'd like some, feel free to make some. And of course, that came down to, do I really want them or do I really want to make it? Nope. They didn't. Or occasionally they, my son did, he'll go ahead and make it. I'm like, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, that's how I ended up handling the stubborn ones.
And then number 5 is the me last martyr trap. You feel unentitled to ask family members to make changes. You've been relegating your own needs to the bottom of the list. And she had to remind herself she wasn't asking her family to make changes to make them unhappy. She was asking them to make changes so that she could reach extraordinarily important goals so she could safeguard her health. So she's trying to be healthy for her family. So you can get that little thing going there. And at the very bottom there, that last sentence is, if you knew for sure that your family would happily go along with anything that you wanted, what would you do differently? I think that's an interesting question that maybe something you'd want to think through. If you could just wave your magic wand and have them all be, going, yeah, that's great, Mom, whatever. What are the things that you would do different? What would you like to do? And see all those kind of things. I think it's funny. Hey, we got through the chapter. Is there anything else in that chapter that stood out to you guys?
Mm-mm.
I liked on 123, I had highlighted, there's a lot of good stuff in this chapter, actually. Yeah. Just about if you're hesitant to put yourself first, ask yourself, isn't it okay for family members to be inconvenienced or slightly uncomfortable for an important cause? And that being my health, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not used to doing that. The people pleaser, I'm just always about the kids. And I do put myself last.
Okay. So you're valuable and you're worth it, girl.
Okay.
Yay.
Go.
Well, on 124, she says, you deserve to do what you need to do to lose weight and become healthier. But that was good. Why do other people deserve your care, but not you? So I thought that those were like good thoughts for hitting there. So it's like, hey, the next one's got the ones about traveling and eating out traps, and also about holiday prep. So those would be
Okay.
kind of interesting. So the next couple chapters here, and we're making good progress. I'm so glad you guys came on here, and so we'll do that for next week. And keep on doing those other little skills. I know we had all the reading those advantages lists. Don't forget about that. And sitting down, eat slowly, give yourself credit. Build up that resistance muscle, and keep whatever your eating plan is, stick with it, and like you're making progress. It's all good. Any questions or thoughts, girls?
No, but what I've enjoyed is that as I'm reading this, it sort of puts words to some of the things that that go on, and you're like, oh yeah, that's it exactly. You kind of get lost in these spiraling thoughts, and it's sort of like, that's it. It's like once it has a name, it's a little bit easier to battle when you have it, when there's like a name to it.
Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah, I've really gained a lot of insight.
Yeah, I think it just helps like get that thought process. You're right. It's just like, oh man, once you kind of can get a handle, if we could just get that to sink in and keep it there, it's like, oh. So, awesome. Stop the recording here.